In today's video, I want to talk about a core aspect of our training system at Hardstyle, and it's something that we call Recovery Accelerating Mechanisms, or R.A.M for short. This is the glue that holds a strength training program together. One of the common goals, one of the common problems our students encounter as they approach 40 and as they get over 40 is a loss of mobility, flexibility, function, just overall health and vitality. And that has a big impact on their strength training, has a big impact on them doing jiu-jitsu. Many of you guys that come to us that train jiu-jitsu. It has a big impact on their ability to just function. And the reason for this is because, as we train, we tend to put mobility and flexibility on the back burner, and we just want to get right to the meat and potatoes. That's one reason. Or number two, we don't have a systematic process on how to improve mobility, flexibility. If you've ever, been stretching or doing things like foam rolling, and you notice that you're just not making progress, there's a reason behind that, and that is there is a systematic process of improving mobility, flexibility. And this is important to understand because mobility and strength cannot be divorced from each other. They go together. They are not mutually exclusive. You need your mobility to access movement patterns. You need mobility to access your true strength. You need strength to access mobility, and you need to be strong in all ranges of motion. And so one of the first parts of our recovery mechanism is a test-retest system, method, approach. What this does is this allows you to train for the long haul because it allows you to do an assessment of how you're moving for the day. So each day we move a little different. Maybe we've been sitting for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day with our career. Maybe we're overcoming an injury. Maybe we're super sore from a workout from the day before. Maybe we had a tough jiu-jitsu session. You get the idea. Each day we move differently. Maybe our neck is a little stiff. Maybe our hips are a little stiff. Well, this first part of our system allows you to identify any weak points. And then from there, we can start to develop a movement sequence that starts to clear out any of those movement viruses. I talked about this on a previous episode, this idea of movement viruses, which are essentially compensations. And so this test-retest is about preparing for movement, it's about recovery, and it's about longevity. And that's the name of the game. As you age, the name of the game is recovery. It's not how much work you can do, it's how much work you can recover from, especially as you approach 40 and even get over 40. The harder you train, the more you really need to dial in your recovery. The second thing that a recovery mechanism system does is it is an integration of the three movement systems. We call this neural chunking. The first one of your first movement systems is visual. Okay, this is where this is what we know as like depth perception. We have mirror neurons, so what allows us to learn how to move through sight. This is where we empathize with others. If you've ever seen someone fall and you flinch and you're like, ooh, those are mirror neurons in your brain causing movement. Okay, then we have proprioceptive. This is our body awareness, knowing where our body's at in space and time. This is where we develop our internal GPS system of movement. Then we have our vestibular system. This is our internal balance. This is our coordination. And if any one of these systems go offline, the body starts to break down. And so as we go through the retest, as we go through a particular sequence of mobility, trunk stability, sensory integration movements, strength training, conditioning work, through these sequences, through this recovery system, it incorporates and it feeds new information to the brain, and it starts to improve movement competency. So why is all this important? Why should you care about any of this? Because movement competency is the name of the game. If you don't move well, you're not going to be able to strength train well. If you're 40 and above and you started jiu-jitsu and you notice after the first week or two things are starting to hurt and you're breaking down, you probably don't move very well for jiu-jitsu. And this is one of the core things anytime I lead or coach one of our jiu-jitsu classes is teaching our students how to move well for jiu-jitsu. So the goal is to improve movement competency. In the context of strength training, our body should tell the weight what to do, not the weight tell our body what to do. I once heard a guy at a barbell certification say, yeah, I can't break parallel unless I have 315 on my back. And like, imagine my hands going straight to my head. Like, what? You need 300 pounds to squat below parallel? That's insane. You should be able to squat below parallel before you even put a weight on your back. And these are the two principles of strength training and jiu-jitsu. So strength training and jiu-jitsu, they have two similar principles, the exact principles, and that is posture and positioning. The better and stronger you are in your posture, the better position you're going to get into. The better position that you're in, the more leverage you're going to have over your opponent, the more leverage you're going to have over the weight that you're moving. And so if you don't have good movement competency, you're not going to be able to get the most leverage over the weight that you're lifting, which means you're not going to get strong, and which means you're not going to get results. So ultimately, our body should dictate what the weights do, what our training partner does, not the other way around. And a key thing of why this is important is because it develops the mind, particularly the intellect. We have an intellect and we have a will. And so it develops the mind. How does it do that? As you're moving through these sequences, as you're learning, that's literally what you're doing. You're learning. You're problem solving. You're learning how to critically think from one transition to the next. This sends a lot of rich information to your mind, and it allows you literally can get smarter just by learning how to critically think. And this is why this is so crucial for infants, for little ones, to stay on the ground and crawl as long as they can. Therapists have noticed a correlation between kids that have, like, I think there's a study around children that have like ADD or ADHD, and they noticed that these kids are the ones that started walking prematurely, right? So, the neighbor next door is like, oh, little Tommy started walking, at 7 months old. Like, that's not a good thing because they stopped learning how to solve problems. You want to, the more in contact you are with the ground and the environment around you, the more that you're going to develop your mind, the more that you're going to be able to critically think, and the better you are going to be at solving problems. And so this is a key aspect of our training for our students. It's something we call recovery accelerating mechanisms, and it's what holds their entire training together. If you want to learn more about what this looks like, I'm doing a free live training tomorrow evening, Thursday. What are we today? Wednesday. Thursday, December the 11th. I'm hosting it at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. I'll put the link in the description. What I'm going to be covering is the 5 steps to be more athletic after 40. And recovery mechanisms is a big part of that. But I'm going to be covering 5 full steps. It's going to be a full, about 45 minutes to 1 hour training. And you're going to learn everything you need to know about how to build a stronger, healthier, flexible, and did I say healthy? Stronger, healthier, more flexible body. Why? So you can strength train, so you can set a better example for your family. So that's all I got for you today. I'll drop the link in the comments. Appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the live training. Peace.